October is here and you can feel the fall season in the air. The mornings are crisp and the evenings are cool. And while I haven't been here on YouTube, I have been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. Hey there, my name is Yami. Welcome back to Mi Casa, where I share my love for home decor and DIY with you. Today I have a beautiful fall wreath tutorial for any of you who've ever had problems putting one together. I want it to be as easy as possible to follow for any of you who have struggled on creating a wreath. I want to go over all the steps that it takes to create something beautiful for your front door, all the while keeping it inexpensive. All right, let's get started with the fall wreath. So the first thing you're going to need is a grapevine wreath like this. I found this one at Hobby Lobby for $5.99, but sometimes I do see smaller, skinnier versions at Dollar Tree, and I know you can get them at Michael's too. I got these 2-leaf bushes at Walmart. I believe they're about almost $4 a piece, but they're really thick. Then I got a couple of these little berries from Dollar Tree, as well as these white ones that I had on hand already from a previous year. I bought these pumpkins from Dollar Tree as well, and I had 3 of them. And I also had these cute little pumpkin clips and just some random greenery that I still had left over from previous projects. Also be using 1 pack of these little mini leather pumpkins. Now the first thing I'm going to do is cut down the stems from the leaf bushes. Now the reason I'm going to do this is because I need smaller picks to insert into the wreath. I'm also going to be cutting them at 2 different places so I can create 2 separate leaf picks out of 1 stem. This will give me twice amount of picks to insert into my wreath. Now I'm going to add a little bead of hot glue to the stem that was lower on the bush because it doesn't have the little stopper on top to prevent it from falling off. So by creating 2 picks out of each stem, you're getting twice the amount of picks, therefore not having to spend as much when creating your wreath. Now as I'm placing the picks into the wreath form, I am adding a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of each of the stems. That way they stay in place. And as I insert them into the wreath, I like to keep them all facing the same direction as I insert them. This really does give the wreath a more beautiful and cohesive look all the way around. As I'm inserting them throughout the wreath, I like to place them evenly throughout, and then I'll come back in and fill the spaces in between. Once all of the leaves are inserted into the wreath, I make small adjustments here and there to make it look better. And the next layer I like to add are the berries. And again, I am cutting them off from the little bushes that they come in, making the picks smaller. I like to insert these and do kind of like a dry run and see where they are all placed. And I like to adjust the spacing in between them in case there are any larger gaps before I actually put them in permanently. Once I like where they're at, I'll take the hot glue gun, pull them out, add the hot glue to the tips of the picks, and then reinsert them where they were at. I did the same thing with the white berries, but remember I only had 1 of these, so I had to fill them in a little bit farther from each other. Building up the wreath this way with the larger foliage in the back and then inserting the smaller ones as you go on the front always allows you to use less items of each one and really create a full wreath. Next, I had these beautiful little raffia braided pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I removed the majority of each of the stems. And then what I did was, because these were bigger and heavier, I added hot glue to the stem as well as the base of it. So when I insert this stem into the reform, the stem will actually adhere to the inside portion of the wreath, but then wherever the pumpkin lays on the wreath, it will also stick on to it.
Now, because I only had 3 of these pumpkins, I spaced them out evenly in a triangle shape along the wreath, and it really does balance it out that way. Next, I added the white pumpkin clips. I did reinforce the clips onto the pumpkins with hot glue because they were a little bit too loose. And then I also added hot glue inside of the clips so that when it bit down on the wreath, it would adhere to it as well. So I just reinforced it in those 2 ways. That way they wouldn't fall off. And as you can see here, I am adding that hot glue inside and then again clipping it on. Now you can always stop here, but I wanted to make sure to add the rest of those little greenery pieces that I already had on hand. I've had these for a while now, left over from previous projects, and I've used them throughout many of my projects. And I'm just adding them here and there throughout. Again, just to add a different layer of greenery and another color to the mix. I needed to add the leather pumpkins, but they didn't come with picks. So I just cut off a few pieces of some of the stems that were remaining on the flowering bushes, and I'll use those to insert into the pumpkins and create my own little pumpkin pick. I made sure to add hot glue to the tip of that pick before inserting it into the pumpkin as well so that it would not come off. And then I would cut down the pick a little bit shorter so that I didn't have such a long stem. Then I would add hot glue to it, and then I would just insert them throughout the wreath. And that is all you need to create a beautiful fall wreath for your front door using inexpensive items.
Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give this a thumbs up. And I want you to stay tuned because I am currently working on another huge project at my parents' house. This one's going to be pretty exciting. I'm already collecting all of the things that I need. My husband is already doing a demo, and it's just going to be an amazing transformation. So this is a project that I have actually been really excited to do because I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. And I think it's not only just going to be beautiful, but it is going to be very functional for my parents. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That is going to be the largest project that I get done before we move on to our property. I also have the Q&A video coming up next, so make sure you stick around. So I'll see you all again next week with another home decor and DIY video. I have some seasonal videos right here that you can enjoy in the meantime, and I will see you back here very soon. Until then, adios.